Hare Krishna. So we're very delighted to be back in Juhu after a long time. Be here with all the wonderful devotees. Be here at the lotus feet of Sri Nitai Gaur Sundar, SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple, Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanumanji Maharaj. To be at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and with all the wonderful devotees of Mumbai Yatra. It's a great, very delighted to be here. A little bit sad. Yesterday we learned that one of our very dear godbrothers, Ekanath Prabhu, who was part of Surabhi's crew who built this place. We're all relishing this wonderful place, but there was some devotees, Ekanath was one of them, who performed great austerities to make this wonderful temple where we're all relishing like anything. So he was part of Surabhi's team to build this wonderful temple here in Hare Krishna land. So we're a little bit sad that Ekanath Prabhu suddenly he had a heart attack and that was it. So on the Kadasi day, just now. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, verse 45. Huh? So I imagine in Vrindavan we're almost on the same. We're almost same with Vrindavan. We left Vrindavan. We were just finishing the 10th canto. So here we're beginning 11th canto. So we're all about this. Vrindavan and Mumbai almost the same. Sri Havir Uvacha Sarva Bhuteshu Ya Pasyed Bhagavat Bhavam Atmanaha Bhutani Bhagavati Atmani Esa Bhagavatottama Sri Havir Uvacha Sarva Bhutesu Yakpashyed Bhagavat Bhavam Atmanaha Bhutani Bhagavatyatmani Esha Bhagavatottama Sri Havir Uvacha Sarva Bhuteshu Yakpashyed Bhagavat Bhavam Atmanaha Bhutani Bhagavatyatmani Esha Bhagavatottama Sri Havir Uvacha Sarva Bhuteshu Yakpashyed Bhagavat Bhavam Atmanaha Bhutani Bhagavatyatmani Yesha Bhagavatottama. bhavam atmana Pani bhagavatyatmani Yesha bhagavadottamaha Ladies, Sri Havi Uvacha, Sri Havir said, Sarva Bhuteshu, in all objects, in matter, spirit, and combinations of matter and spirit. Yaha, anyone who pasyet, sees, Bhagavat Bhavam, the ability to be engaged in the service of the Lord. Atmanaha, of the Supreme Spirit Soul, or the transcendence beyond material concept of life. Bhutani, all beings. Bhagavati, in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atmani, the basic principle of all existence. Eshaha, this. Bhagavata, Uttama, a person advanced in devotional service. Translation, Sri Havir said, the most advanced devotees sees within everything the soul of all souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Consequently, he sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord and understands that everything that exists is eternally situated within the Lord. Translation, please repeat. Sri Havir said, the most advanced devotee sees within everything the soul of all souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Consequently, he sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord and understands that everything that exists is eternally situated within the Lord. So the purport is several pages long, so we'll just say our Mangala Charan and we'll go through as far as we get. But we'll comment along the way. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manubhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Adati Swapadantikam Adadandastatandandai Ridam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padambujo Dulisyam Janma Janmani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhu Vaivata Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So purport by the followers of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In the Bhagavad-gita 6.30, the Lord says, Yo mam pasyati sarvatra, sarvacha mayi pasyati, tasyaham na pranasyami, sacha me na pranasyati. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Srila Prabhupada comments, a person in Krishna consciousness certainly sees Lord Krishna everywhere, and he sees everything in Krishna. Such a person may appear to see all separate manifestations of the material nature, but in each and every instance he is conscious of Krishna, knowing that everything is a manifestation of Krishna's energy. Nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. This is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. So the pure devotee, he sees everything in relation with the Lord. He doesn't see some separate existence of everything. As soon as he sees an apple, he says, oh, let me offer this apple to Krishna. He sees a tree, he says, oh, this is Krishna's energy. He goes to the forest, where he's thinking, oh, this is so beautiful. Just imagine how beautiful the spiritual world is. Everything he sees Krishna within. Just like I remember one time, I was selling incense on behalf of New Dwarka Temple in Los Angeles. And on the way to one of my accounts, there was, everywhere there was these big billboards. There was some movie coming out. Is there sex after death? And I saw this thing and said, oh my God, what a horrible thing. So Prabhupada, he would go sometimes to the beach, sometimes he would go to the park to walk. So he also saw the same thing. So in the class next day, that morning, he said, yes, we saw there's big billboard. Is there sex after death? But they do not know Radha and Krishna. I was just seeing horrible thing and Prabhupada was seeing Radha and Krishna. So this is the pure devotee. He sees everything in relation with Krishna. The qualification for seeing Krishna everywhere is stated in the Brahma Samhita, 538. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena santak sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya guna swarupam govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotees, whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shamasundar, situated within the heart of the devotee. A devotee of the highest level of spiritual qualification is glorified for the expansiveness of his spiritual vision. For example, when the stalwart demon Hiranyakashipu questioned his self-realized son, Prahlad Maharaj, as to the whereabouts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prahlad, being a Mahabhagavat or a pure devotee, answered straightforwardly that the Supreme Lord is everywhere. The demoniac father then asked if God was in the pillar of the palace. When Prahlad answered yes, Hiranyakashipu, being a bona fide demon, this is interesting, huh? Bona fide demon. Struck the pillar with his sword, trying to kill God, or at least disprove his existence. Then Lord Nrsingadev the most ferocious form of the Supreme Lord, immediately appeared and finished forever the illicit program of Hiranyakashipu. Thus Prahlad Maharaj can be accepted as a Uttama Adhikari devotee. So Prabhupada quotes this very nice verse from Brahma Samhita, and I remember there's beautiful recording. Prabhupada said, people ask whether one can see God. Yes, God can be seen, but that requires some qualification. Some qualification. Not that you have to become learned man, rich man, powerful man. No, none of these things. Only one qualification. And then he quotes this, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena. So anjana means ointment. Just like sometimes we have some problem with our eyes and the doctor gives some ointment. And then after we put that oil, we see everything very clearly. So Prabhupada explained that only one qualification to see God. Unalloyed love, that's all. So when the eyes are anointed with the premanjana, the love of the anjana, the ointment of love of God, then one can see, what is that? Sham Sundar Achintya Guna Swarupam. He has Achintya Guna Swarupa. It's not that God is formless or that he has no qualities, but Achintya Guna Swarupam. He has no material qualities. When the Upanishads say that God has no qualities, he has no name, he has no form, they're referring to the fact that he has no material form, no material quality, no material name. Or Prabhupada also explains that, not that he has millions of names. Jai SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple. He has unlimited names. For all his different activities, just like he's the son of Nanda Maharaj, so we call him Nandanandan. He's the son of Mother Yasoda, so we call Yasoda Nandan, Yasoda Dulala. So he has millions of names. So he has no material form, quality, or name. But here it says, Achintya Guna Swarupam, Achintya, beyond our thinking power. We can't understand. But only by mercy of Lord we will understand. So Prabhupada gives here the example of Prahlad Maharaj. We all saw the Mahavatar Nrsinga, this wonderful movie, and we saw Prahlad. He was seeing the Lord everywhere. So his father asked him, where is your God? Oh, Baba, he's everywhere. He's everywhere? Is he here? Is he here? He pointed at the pillar. Is he here? And Prahlad said, yes, Baba, he's everywhere. Then Hiranyakashipu took his sword and he smashed that pillar. And the sound echoed throughout the entire universe, very frightening sound. Everyone's hairs were standing on end hearing that sound. And the pillar broke apart and out leaped Lord Nrsingadev, Nrsingadev Bhagavan Ki. And finished up the devotees who wrote this purport, they say the bona fide demon Hiranyakashipu. He was finished off. So Prabhupada says, he saw Krishna everywhere, so he can be accepted as a Uttama Adhikari. A pure devotee is completely free from the tendency to enjoy things separately from the Lord's service. He does not see anything in the universe as unfavorable because he sees everything as expanded potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee's purpose in existing is to give pleasure somehow or another to the Supreme Lord. Thus everything that a pure devotee experiences moment by moment increases his ecstatic loving desire to see the transcendental, to satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord. So our business is we're constantly thinking how to enjoy this material world. We enter every relationship. What's in it for me? We always enter every. What's in it for me? What do I get out of this? But the pure devotee, his only desire is to please Krishna. Because his only desire is to please Krishna. He sees it. Therefore, he sees everything in relation with Krishna. How can this be used? Just like they may criticize, you're supposed to be spiritual people. Why are you using this microphone and so many things? But by this microphone, we're not singing some cinema song. We're singing beautiful songs glorifying the Lord. We're speaking the philosophy of the Lord. Because the devotee, his only business is to please the Lord. So whatever can please the Lord. If we can use this microphone to broadcast the glories of the Lord, why not? Just like I remember one time I came down, I was president of Portland, Oregon, but Prabhupada came to LA, so we flew down from LA to be there. And I was invited onto the morning walk every day. Almost every day Prabhupada would go to Venice Beach. Sometimes he went to a certain park. I can't remember the name right now. But sometimes he would go to Venice Beach. And a boy had come. He was living someplace. In those days there was no temple there, in Arizona someplace. Some desert place. But he'd gone through LA airport and he got a book from a devotee. Then he started writing to LA temple. There was an address was there. So he got more books. They sent him some beads, taught him how to chant, they taught him how to offer prasad, so everything. So at home he was becoming a devotee. Then they wrote, oh, Prabhupada's coming to LA, if you can come, that'd be very nice. So he came out and they invited him to come on the walk. So we're walking on the beach and suddenly he blurted out, Srila Prabhupada, I heard that wherever a pure devotee stays, all material enjoyment goes far away. And Prabhupada stopped. He turned around and pushed his cane into the sand to see who was talking. He says, we do not say do not enjoy. You were not in the kirtan this morning chanting the Lord's holy name? Oh yes, Prabhupada. That was not enjoyable? Oh yes, Prabhupada. You were not in the class hearing the philosophy of Krishna consciousness? Oh yes, Prabhupada. That was not enjoyable? Oh yes, Prabhupada. That was very enjoyable. So he said, we do not say do not enjoy. We say enjoy like a human being. You enjoy like a human being. He said, and this dance and drink all night in the disco club, that is enjoyment. Oh no, Prabhupada. That is not enjoyment. No, that is enjoyment like cat and dog. So our philosophy is not that you do not enjoy, but you enjoy like a human being. You chant the holy name, you take prasadam, you hear the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. These are all very enjoyable, so you enjoy like a human being. So this is the vision of the pure devotee. He sees everything in relation with Krishna, and how to engage as much of this material energy. The devotee has the most amazing mystic power. Sometimes we see some so-called gods come up. They make some ash appear from their hand, or sparks fly from their hair, or so many things. But devotee has the most amazing mystic power. He changes matter into spirit. Because Krishna has told, if you offer anything to the Lord, then it loses its material quality, it becomes spiritual. So devotees have the most amazing, most powerful mystic power. They can change matter into spirit by offering it. Just like in the West, when I'm here in this temple, I just feel Prabhupada's presence like anything. Because we had no idea what he was talking about. He's talking about building this huge carved marble temple and twin tower guest house. In the West, we went in the low rent district, we rented a house, we painted funny colors, we put a sign, Hare Krishna temple, and that was a temple. And Prabhupada's talking about carved marble, huge, enormous carved marble temple and twin tower guest house. So this is Prabhupada's project. I feel Prabhupada's presence here more than, even in Vrindavan, I feel more here. This is, and I came here one time for Janmashtami and I saw, that was many of us, like 40 years ago almost. And the police estimated 8 lakhs of people. I don't know how many people come now. That was 40 years ago. I saw why Prabhupada wanted this place so much, and he built this huge temple. And this has become one of the most famous spiritual places in Mumbai area, this RadhaRasbihariTemple, Hare Krishna land. So that was Prabhupada's vision. The three modes of material nature torment the conditioned soul, who absorbs his mind in the separated material energy of the Lord. The function of the separated energy, Binna Prakriti, is to take the living entity away from the reality, which said everything is within Krishna, and Krishna is within everything. Being covered by gross ignorance, the bewildered conditioned soul believes that the objects of his own limited vision actually exist. Sometimes such foolish persons speculate that if a tree falls in a forest with no one to hear it, there will actually be no sound. The conditioned souls do not consider that since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is all-pervading, there is no question of no one hearing. The Lord always hears, as stated in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, 13:14. Sarvata Shrutima Loke. The Supreme Lord hears everything. He is Upadrasta, the witness of everything. Bhagavad-gita 13:23. So this is interesting. The three modes of material nature torment the conditioned soul. Prabhupada uses this word, conditioned soul. Just like everybody, when they go to Vrindavan, they want to make sure they have an air-conditioned room. Is it AC? Is there a touch bath? Because in Vrindavan, the air naturally is very, very warm. So that machine, it conditions the air to be cool. So that these three modes of material nature condition us to want to enjoy sense gratification rather than serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is conditioned. We're conditioned to want to enjoy. And we're tormented. Because everything we try to enjoy in so many ways, and we're never satisfied. Somehow we make 1 lakh of rupees, then we want to have 5 lakhs, then we want 10 lakhs, then we want 1 crore, then we want 100 crore. It goes on and on and on. We're just tormented. We're never satisfied. Material nature is beating us. More, work harder, more. Tormenting. And we never really enjoy in this material world. We are thinking that we're going to enjoy. As soon as I get this house, as soon as I get this car, as soon as I get this, then then my life will be perfect. And we get all those things and we don't find anything there. There's no real enjoyment in any of these things. So the material is just tormenting us. Just like a girl, she sees a nice, handsome young boy, and she thinks, oh, if I could marry with this boy, then my life will be perfect. So they get married. Then Saturday comes around, he's just sitting, drinking his beer, watching the cricket game on TV. And the wife comes, you never take me anywhere. Shut up, I'll listen to the cricket game. So material nature is just tormenting us. This is very interesting. And this is also very interesting because the materials, they speculated that if a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody there, then there's no sound. But they don't know, according to the Upanishads, the Lord's hands, ears, nose, everything, He sees everything everywhere. So the Lord is there to hear. There's still sound. In this verse, the word Bhagavat Uttama, most advanced devotee, indicates that there are those who are not gross materialists, but who are not the highest devotees. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, those who cannot properly distinguish between devotees and non-devotees, and who therefore never worship pure devotees of the Lord, are known as Kanista Adhikaris, devotees on the lowest stage of devotional service. Such Kanista Adhikaris engage in worship of the Supreme Lord, especially in a temple, but are indifferent to the Lord's devotees. They misunderstand the statement by Lord Shiva in the Padma Puran. So here it says Bhagavat Ottama, the highest. Uttam. Tam means ignorance. So Uttam, above this material energy. Uttam, the best. It's the most pure devotee. We're hearing the qualities of the best devotee. But a Kanistha, he recognizes the Lord. He comes to the temple, but he doesn't come to the class. He's not interested in the devotees. He comes and mainly he's just thinking the Lord is an order supplier, that I need this, I need that. Give me a job and a car and a house by the sea. Swami Jai Jagadish Hari. So this is a Kanistha. He only sees the Lord is there for to help him in his sense gratification, and he doesn't pay much attention. He doesn't recognize the devotees or associate with the devotees so much. I think they're all just fanatics, shaving their heads and wearing these funny robes. So he's Kanistha. But now we're going to have a nice verse from Lord Shiva in Padma Puran. He's speaking to Parvati, and he says, Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. O Devi, the most exalted system of worship is the worship of Lord Vishnu. Greater than that is the worship of Tadiya, or anything belonging to Vishnu. Srila Prabhupada comments on this verse, Sri Vishnu is Satchidananda Vigraha. Similarly, the most confidential servant of Krishna, the spiritual master, and all devotees of Vishnu are Tadiya. The Satchidananda Vigraha, Guru, Vaishnava, and things used by them must be considered Tadiya, and without a doubt worshipable by all living beings. Typically, the Kanistha is eager to engage his materialistic qualifications in the service of the Lord, mistaking such material expertise to be the sign of advanced devotion. But by continuing to serve the Supreme Lord and the devotees engaged in propagating the Lord's mission, the Kanistha also advances in his realization and comes to the stage of dedicating his activities to help more advanced Vaishnavas. Even such Kanistha can help ordinary living entities by their association, since at least the Kanistha have faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because of this faith, the Kanistha gradually becomes inimical to those who are opposed to the Lord, as he gradually becomes more and more inimical to those who hate the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and becomes more and more attracted to friendship with other faithful servants of the Lord. The Kanistha approaches the second stage, called Madhyama. In the Madhyama stage, the Vaishnava sees the Lord as the cause of all causes and the chief goal of everyone's loving propensity. He sees the Vaishnavas as his only friends within the morbid world, and is eager to bring innocent people within the shelter of the Vaishnava society. Also, Madhyama Adhikari strictly avoids associating with the self-proclaimed enemies of God. When such an intermediate qualification becomes mature, the concept of supreme qualification begins to present itself. Then he comes to the stage of Uttamadhikari. So, like I said, the Kanistha they have a materialistic view of the Lord. But gradually, if they somehow begin to associate with devotees, just like our Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur, he has explained in Madhurya Kadambini that I had the honor to translate. So it begins with Shraddha, little faith, that these people are worshipping Krishna. What is this all about? Let me go and hear. So they associate with the devotees, then they can understand. Prabhupada says here they begin to associate with the devotees, begin to hear the philosophy, begin to understand, gradually come to the Madhyama stage. Madhyama stage means that they worship the Lord, they associate with the devotees, make friends with the devotees, they help the innocent, and they avoid the atheist. This is the qualities of the Madhyama Adhikari. He worships the Lord, he befriends the devotees, he tries to help the innocent, and he avoids the atheists. Of course, Uttama Adhikari, he doesn't see whether one is a devotee or atheist, because he sees everything is going on by the will of the Supreme Lord, so he sees Krishna everywhere. Prabhupada explains, he has to come down to the Madhyam stage out of his compassion to preach to the innocent people and bring them to the path of Krishna consciousness. Because the Uttama Adhikari, he sees everything is going on by Krishna's will. Just like Prabhupada said in one lecture, that he sees the sinner is sinning, he says, oh, this is nice. He sees the pious devotee doing nicely, oh, this is nice. Prabhupada, I do not see like that. I see the sinner sinning, I have to stop him. So he has to descend by his mercy, by his compassion. He descends to the Madhyama platform to make a distinction. So, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains it is only by the mercy of the devotee that we get bhakti. He says, bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya. Bhakti is born from bhakti. And bhakti lives in the heart of the devotee. He said even Krishna himself doesn't give bhakti. Because if Krishna was the giver of bhakti, then we'll have to criticize him. He's giving to some, he's not giving to other. Just like there was, several years ago, there was one fellow in England named Stephen Hawking. And he wrote so many books. This Bhagwan is a nonsense thing. No faith. So, no bhakti. And you could all be home, Sunday, so you could all be home sleeping and having a, I remember on my, when I was selling incense, there was one account, and she seemed the proprietor, she seemed a little interested in Krishna consciousness. I said, you should come to the temple on Sunday, we have a feast. Oh no, Sunday I just drop dead and sleep all day and enjoy. As we were saying, the material energy torments the commission. They can't stand their work, they can't stand their business, they can't stand their boss, they can't stand the people they have to associate with, and Sunday comes and they just sleep. I was amazed. In the same sense, I drop dead and enjoy. That's their enjoyment, to drop dead. This is the torment of material conditioned life. I just drop dead and sleep all day and enjoy. So this is the enjoyment. So what were we saying? I forgot. I was thinking about it. Oh, so we're talking about, it's only the devotee can give bhakti because of, so anyway, you're all here today because you have bhakti. You could be home sleeping, but you came to the class to hear something about the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So you have a little bhakti. So we'll have to criticize that Krishna is giving to someone, he's not giving to somebody else. But we know in Bhagavad-gita, Krishna says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu, I'm equal to everyone. So Krishna doesn't give bhakti. Only you can get bhakti from the Vaishnava, from the Bhakt. Bhakti is living in his heart and he can give. And if the devotee gives mercy to someone, then Krishna, he's under the control of his devotees. Whoever that devotee gives mercy to, then Lord comes behind and gives mercy to that devotee. So if we want to get Krishna bhakti, we can't get it directly from Krishna. We have to go take shelter of the devotees. And they can give us Krishna consciousness. It's even Krishna himself doesn't give. This is one of the main points that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives in Madhurya Kadambini. And we see as soon as we become devotee, then here it's said we lose our taste for associating with our old so-called friends, because they all they want to do is, hey man, I got some nice dope, you want to go shoot it up. So we don't have any more taste for associating. We want to associate with the devotees instead. So as more we advance, we want to associate more and more with those people who are trying to advance in spiritual life. This is a sign of Madhyama Adhikari. A Kanistha Adhikari guru, one who is simply attached to performing religious ceremonies and worshipping the deity without appreciation for other Vaishnavas, especially those who are preaching the message of the Lord, will especially appeal to persons interested in dry cultivation of knowledge. As a living entity develops mundane piety, he proudly devotes himself to regulated work and nobly tries to detach himself the fruits of his work. Though through such regulated detached work, knowledge or wisdom gradually arises. As knowledge or wisdom becomes prominent, the pious materialist becomes attracted to altruistic and charitable work and gives up gross sinful activities. If he is fortunate, he then becomes favorable to the transcendental devotional service of the Lord. Desiring a mere intellectual understanding of devotional service, such a pious materialist may seek shelter at the feet of a Kanistha Adhikari. If able to advance to the Madhyama qualification, he then becomes attracted to a Vaishnava actively engaged in preaching Krishna consciousness. And when fully mature on the platform of intermediate devotion, he becomes attracted to the Mahabhagavat level and is awarded a glimpse of the exalted position of the Mahabhagavat spiritual master by the grace of Krishna within his heart. If one gradually goes on in devotional service of the Lord, one becomes established as a Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat. At this stage, all of his actions, movements, and engagement and preaching are dedicated solely to the satisfaction of Krishna. The illusory potency Maya has no power to throw or cover such purified living entity. Upadesa Mrita, Srila Rupa Goswami has described this stage of life as bhajana vigyam anayam anya nindadi sunya ridam. So generally people, they're attracted by some Prabhupada's was just a Kanistha Adhikari guru who just performs some religious ceremonies. When there's need of vivaha, then he does a vivaha jagya, then he does the annaprashan sanskar, and so many different sanskars like that, and just there's some exchange of money, and not very spiritual. But gradually, if he gets a chance to associate with a real Vaishnava who's engaged in the service of the Lord, because generally they become attracted to altruistic or charitable work. Just like I remember one time we were coming back from Juhu beach with Prabhupada on a walk, and one lady was there. She was going on, you have to do some charitable work, you have to do this, and Prabhupada said, what is your charitable work? Like you have a boil on your hand and you're blowing. That is your charitable work. You have to take a lance and lance that boil and squeeze out the poison. So just doing charitable work, that is, people say you have to open up hospitals and this and that. That's just so they can get their health back and they can continue with their sinful life. They're suffering because of sinful life. By sinful life we have legal troubles, we have diseases, monetary problems, all these things come from sinful life. So we open up, so the hospital is like getting the people are sick because of their disease, then you give them back their health so they can go on sinning. No use. Brothers, it's like blowing on a boil. You have a boil, you blow on it. You may feel some little relief. But you have to take a lance and lance that thing and squeeze. Oh, it hurts. Just squeeze out that poison. That is so the real help, the real charitable work is to stop people from sinful life. Then automatically their suffering is ended. And stopping sinful life means to take up Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the transcendental form of life. So this is the real charitable work. Prabhupada over and over, he's pounded on this point, that the real charity is to give people Krishna consciousness in their suffering altogether. To end, we're all suffering birth, death, disease, and old age. We preached about it our whole life. Now we're getting the Sakshat Darshan. It's no fun. So the real end of suffering is to stop birth, death, disease, and old age. Just like one time, I can't remember his name, his son of P.C. Sarkar, the famous magician. He came and he did some magic for Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was laughing. Then he said, "But can you make birth, death, disease, and old age go away?" He said, "No, Swamiji, I can't do it." He said, "I can do that magic." They understood that Prabhupada was a better magician than him. So, this is the real charitable work, is to bring people to Krishna consciousness. You stop their sinning, you engage them in spiritual life. And spiritual life is very, we had that one song, Kevalananda Kanda. We're chanting, we're dancing, we're feasting. In fact, most of us became devotees by, Prabhupada used to call them ISKCON bullets, gulab jamans. Of course, you've seen gulab jamans since you're born, but anyway, we never saw such things. And that was what convinced me. I joined on Janmashtami Day. I came to the temple. They didn't even have a temple, but it's a long story. But anyway, there was a big feast at midnight. At those days, we didn't know you're supposed to take an Ekadasi break fast. Falahar. We used to eat the whole feast, puris, halava, sweet rice, everything at midnight, I don't know how we survived. So I was eating, and then Bhavananda, he picked up a gulab jamun, and he said, "You know how to eat this?" I said, "Nope." And he threw the whole thing in his mouth. And I thought, well, if he can do it, I can do it. So I picked up that gulab jamun, and when I became a devotee, in the old days, the law was you had to let it soak for 3 days before you offered it to Krishna. So they were heavy-duty gulab jamuns. So I popped it in my mouth, and I thought, well, I made it to the spiritual world. Because he was always preaching. He knew exactly where I was at. That in the material world, everything gets dull. That we've been talking about. But in the spiritual world, Bhavananda would go, taste is always heightening. Touch is always heightening. Sight is, and I would go, so I put that gulab jamun and I thought, well, I'm there. I made it. And I thought, well, what's the choice, to becoming a devotee or not, If I stay here chanting, dancing, and feasting, and the absolute truth is revealed to you, because although we were covered by ignorance, Prabhupada was so expert, he saw that underneath we were trying to figure out what's life, what is the purpose of life. We were doing drugs, we were doing so many crazy things. But the desire was there, and Prabhupada took that little desire, that little spark, he fanned it into a big fire, and made us all Vaishnavas somehow or other. He just took that little spark and fanned it. And we all became Vaishnavas by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So anyway, we couldn't, it's a big, long purport, so maybe you can continue tomorrow, because I just heard the bell, so we're way over time, so we're supposed to leave some time for questions. So if anybody has any question or comment, doubt, argument.
I have a question and one comment. The question is that when you saw that billboard, I couldn't hear that when you saw that the sex after death, then you felt horrible. But when Prabhupada saw that, and then you mentioned that he said something. What did he say?
He said, oh, they do not know about Radha and Krishna. Because Radha and Krishna and the gopis are enjoying, together in the spiritual world. So after death, you'll go there to Golok and enjoy it.
And my comment was that just merely by saying that Krishna is everywhere is not enough. Even the materialistic, they say Krishna is everywhere. They have heard it, they have some knowledge, and they say. But in that case, when the bona fide demon asked Prahlad, is your God here in pillar also? And then he said, yes. So Lord could have appeared from anywhere, but he appeared from the pillar. And Sukadeva Goswami was so happy to glorify Prahlad, says, Satyam vidhatu nijvitta bhasitam. He is everywhere, he can appear from anywhere. But just to prove the statement of a pure devotee, he appeared from the pillar. So two things were there. One thing was that Prahlad saw nothing there everywhere. And second thing, that he said, yes, he is there. So Lord said, hey, my devotee has said this thing, I must come from here.
That reminds me of one nice story that we were talking last night about P.L. Sethi. So one time, he was very, because whenever Prabhupada came to Mumbai, then P.L. Sethi must come and see Prabhupada. So he wasn't coming, so Maharaj probably knows the story better, because he asked Maharaj, where is Sethi ji? He said, oh, he's very sick, he can't come. And they were supposed to go to some very important meeting, and Prabhupada told Giriraj Maharaj, you cancel that meeting, we'll go see Sethi ji. So he went there to his house, and he said, oh, Swamiji, I'm very sick. They have given me some machine for my heart. He didn't say what the machine was. Maybe a pacemaker, I don't know. And Prabhupada told him, you throw that machine out the window. He said, what? They said, I won't live more than 5 minutes. Prabhupada said, you throw that machine out the window. I will see you die. So he threw the machine out the window, and Prabhupada preached all the verses in Bhagavad-gita for 1 hour. He said he won't live for 5 minutes, but Prabhupada preached to him for 1 hour. And he outlived Prabhupada. He used to come to Vrindavan and tell this story. And one time, somebody told me that Prabhupada in a lecture, he was said, that time, I told Sethi ji to throw that machine. I had a big argument with Krishna, because he was supposed to die. But I have told that he will not die. Your devotee's word will go false. So to keep his devotee's word true, he saved Sethi ji. So same way, Prahlad said, yes, to prove that Prahlad's correct, that he's in the pillar, Lord appeared from the pillar.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You said that in the class, that even bhakti causes bhakti, and then even only devotee can deliver. Even Krishna cannot deliver. Krishna cannot give bhakti. But we understand from the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna is Swarat. Krishna is completely independent. If he wants to give, he can give. He doesn't care for criticism.
All I know is that's what Vishwanath Chakravarti says in Bandhurya Kadambini, that even the Lord doesn't, he only gives when the devotee gives. When the devotee gives mercy to someone, then Lord comes behind and gives. If you want to get bhakti, you have to get it from the Vaishnava. Even in Nectar Devotion, Prabhupada quotes that verse that person who says he's a my devotee, I don't know who he is. But that person who says he's a devotee of my devotee, he's my devotee.
But Swarat also has different meaning.
Yes.
He is fully independent. If he doesn't want to give, he will not give.
Yeah.
But if he wants to give, who can stop him? But he should not. That's the meaning of Swarat. Swarat is not on one side, but both sides.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you mentioned about different levels, Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama, and then how Uttamadhikari comes down to Madhyama platform. So what is the difference between a progressive Madhyamadhikari and Madhyamadhikari coming from Uttama platform?
What is the difference?
What is the difference between Madhyamadhikari, like progressive, coming from Kanishta,
Okay.
and what is the difference with Madhyamadhikari coming from Uttama?
And real Uttamadika. Well, Prabhupada said, Uttamadika, he sees everything that Krishna's will is going on. He sees a sinner sinning, he says that's good. He sees a person doing pious activity, that's good. He doesn't react with this material world at all. He just sees Krishna everywhere and that everything's going on by Krishna's arrangement. Even the sinner sinning, that's also Krishna's arrangement. He sees everything. So he sees no need to preach. He's a Madhyamadikari, he sees that these people are doing sin. Prabhupada says, I see the sinner sinning, I have to stop him.
So what is the difference between there must be, I see that there must be like two types of Madhyamadikari, one coming from the lower platform and one from the higher platform. So
technically no difference. One is acting on the one may be a Uttamadikari and he's acting on the Madhyamadikari platform, so they're both on the same, practically they're both on the same platform.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Where's the microphone? He wants to say something.
Hare Krishna. So, a few of you have approached me already. So, Dinbandhu Prabhu's new book on Giriraj Govardhan is available. It's you can see Rahul Prabhu here, and we have put up a book stall. So, it's his latest book. He has done a research for 7 years to bring out a book on Giriraj Govardhan. It's a photo book. We have pictures of all the places of Govardhan and also Krishna's pastimes that are found in all the scriptures, and also some local pastimes that is connected to all the places of Govardhan. So please take a book from here, and Prabhuji is there to sign it if you want. Hare Krishna.
So anyway, if there's no other questions, we'll all fall down at the very soft and wonderful lotus feet of that great personality who created this wonderful Hare Krishna land. Srila Prabhupada ki.